You're listening to Shoreditch Radio. shoreditchradio.co.uk.
Greetings, students, to Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School Lesson 2. Here we are, as snug as a bug in the lair of the bear, etc. And yes, we're the masters here at Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School, but we're not those sadistic bastards, you know, the ones smelling faintly of cabbage and sword underwear, Blakey's in the shoes, kicking up sparks, sneers at the ready. No, you won't hear us holler, "You stop listening to Gene Vincent," down the corridor. In fact, we'll most likely ask you into our study for a nip of 10-year-old single malt and a jazz cigarette. Anyway, we're hard taskmasters if you cross us. Thwack! Actually, we're utter pussycats and real chilled out on that, which is why the interesting chicks in the upper sixth smoke roll-ups and read Albert Camus dig us. Isn't that right, Chris? Mr. Chris over there.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, listen, the children are making a noise. Perhaps it's time we played some music. Anyway, Mr. Chris is with me. I'm Mr. Tony. There goes the bell. It's time for some music. Let's rock. Rock and roll, yeah. This is Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School. The first rule of rock and roll is to be psychotic and to react. Psychotic, reaction. Psychotic, reaction. So they're the greatest record ever made, first of all. Probably the Count 5 and Psychotic Reaction, followed by a new band called the Nomadics and their track Middle 8. And you can catch them at the Dublin Castle on February the 23rd, the Dublin Castle in Camden Town. I'm here with Mr. Chris Charles again, alias Wiggy, as the lads in the football team call him, Old Wiggy. What you got to say, Old Wiggy?
Well, I mean, first of all, Wiggy came about because when I was at school, I had this old maths teacher called Mr. Radford who's into David Bowie, and he was rambling on one day about, a bit like you actually, about about Ziggy Stardust, and he pointed at my shock of curly hair in the front row and said, but we've got Wiggy Stardust here, and it's stuck since then. Wig stuff. But anyway, yeah, so you want me to... I want you to
tell me what you thought of the second track there, the Nomadics.
Well, the second track...
Middle 8 was the name of the track, Middle ATE. See what they've done there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's proper dirty bluesy that was. I mean, that's it gets right to the knuckle.
I'll tell you what, they're great. I probably didn't even choose the best track, which is stupid, but there you go, I'm a bit stupid. And as we know, the first rule of rock and roll is be a contrary. Yeah. So, but yeah, go on.
But yeah, there was I like the fact that you've played Psychotic Reaction before that, because there was definitely that sort of 60s garage sleazy sort of feel.
Yes.
And
they've obviously heard their slightly odoriferous uncle's old Nuggets records and stuff like that. Odoriferous, is that a word? I don't know.
But also there was a bit of Libertines in there, which
exactly, they are post Pete Doherty.
Yeah, there's definitely,
but they do it in a charming way.
But sounding more like Carl Barrett of the two, I'd say.
Okay,
and also a bit of slide guitar. And I mean, you can't beat a bit of slide guitar as far as I'm concerned.
Lots of slide. You should hear more of their stuff. Come and see them on the 23rd of February in the Dublin Castle, Camden Town.
It's a date.
And there's a great bill, other people on there. The Green Brothers are playing that night, and that's the sons of Mick Green from the Pirates, no less.
Oh, wow.
And the Vickers and Rosella Scarlett, who's also great. So anyway, what was I going to say now? Yeah, well, you've got a story for us later on, haven't you, about... do you think old punks are litigious? Do you think they might be? I mean, what should we call them? The Reverberating Schlongs? Is that the band in question? Pete Byron from the Reverberating Schlongs. Let's hold the powder on that one, actually, a little while. But you've got a nice story about Pete Byron from the Fizzing P9. Anyway...
I can see what you're trying to do there, Tony.
Yeah, failing miserably.
Never mind the... what did you say? There's something P9.
I did say the reverberating.
Yeah, that might
P9.
give it away. But anyway, you carry on.
Okay. Well, anyway, the first rule of rock and roll is that rock and roll exists in a sort of rhythmic vacuum, as Mr. Bollock, head of philosophy, says. Quantum mechanics of excellence. It's like Schrodinger's cat. If you put Bono in a box, does the greedy fecker pay his taxes? It's like that, you see. Or if a tree falls in a forest, does Sting make a sound? we don't know.
Did you hear Sting came out the other day, and apparently, or Mrs. Sting, I should say, Trudy Styler.
Tantric Sting, Sting S.
Tantric it was all a load of baloney by all accounts.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, talking of baloney, let's move on to the next record, which isn't baloney at all. Because I was very rude because you chose it. It's actually an absolute stone classic. It's Human Fly by the Cramps. Lux Interior there fetched his chap out on many an occasion, probably more often than Iggy. But anyway, let's bring in Wig here. Why did you choose the Cramps?
Why did I choose the Cramps? Well, funny, the first time I heard the Cramps, we went to go and see the Colts in Leicester, of all places, bizarrely. I think it was the only place we could get tickets. But on the night in question, old matey boy, the singer, Ian Astbury, that's the one. He'd got some sort of throat infection or whatever it was, and we ended up going to some trendy club, and it was uber trendy. They were playing like the New York Dolls, and then all these people, this record that we just played came on, and everyone was doing this sort of weird chicken dance. But not as in the Birdie song, but it was, just thrusting their arms out, and it just looked so cool. And we were just, we're like the kids just standing back watching this. Yeah. So from that, I asked the DJ what it was, and yada yada, and yeah, it's a brilliant track, I think. And recently, been a cover of that has been on a car advert, which has been played every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I sort of heard,
depressed me somewhat.
But I actually heard this song, and I thought that sounds really good, and I looked it up. And I hadn't recognised it as the same song initially, and then it's quite an interesting version.
So how's your week been? Anyway, have you been sort of human, or have you been fly-like? Has the week flown by, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you I've been doing some extraordinary things this week.
Have you had any cramp at all?
Yeah. Yeah, well, plenty of that, but let's not go there. But no, I've had quite a good week. My football team actually won for the first time in months, and my little girl was quite excited about that. And the rest of the week...
Well, let me stop you right there, because I've had a rubbish week, all right? Okay. So stop your bloody smugness there, all right? Right there. Anyway, let's move on now with some more music, actually. This is a new band. Well, after this, you're going to hear a total classic, another total classic, I Want to Be Your Dog, by the Stooges. But first of all, here's a new band, the Dogbones. You can see them on March the 9th with the Japanese Voyeurs and of Arrow Hill, who we played last time around. This is the Dogbones and Hey Chihuahua. Woo! As Iggy would have it. Woo indeed, Iggy. First of all, the Dogbones, a new band, well, fairly new band, playing on March the 9th at the Dublin Castle, kissing off their lapdog there with a song called Hey Chihuahua. Judicious use of a dual drummer lineup, dark narco rock, with a proper pop sensibility. That's my critique. Yeah, but what do you say, Wig?
Well, I mean, that's the first dual drummer lineup I've heard since Adam and the Ants, I think. It doesn't seem to be very in vogue, does it? But maybe they're
the Fall have done it on occasion, well, more than one occasion. Adam and the Ants, the Glitter Band, but we won't go there. We won't go there.
But yeah, I mean, Nice and Sleazy does it, I suppose, as Hugh Cornwell once said. It's a very dirty, in-your-face sort of song. I actually preferred the verse to the chorus, funny enough. The chorus sort of slipped into a bit of derivative, like 90s girl bands.
Okay.
I thought.
Your opinion.
Not girl bands as in the spot. I mean, as in your sort of, your girl
I think that's what lifts it. But anyway, I don't want to go on about this because there is a pedigree to this band, and they have been in a hit-making. Members of the band have been in a hit-making combo. But I don't want to go on about that because I'm sure they don't want to live on their past. But anyway, March the 9th, Dublin Castle, as I've said. And anything to add about Iggy Pop and the classic "I Want to Be Your Dog"?
Well, what can you say about Iggy? The last time I saw him was at Glastonbury, and I was ashamed. I mean, I was actually watching him and sucking my own tummy in, a full 30 years younger than him.
I wondered what you were going to say there. I think Iggy can do that.
That story is coming up, actually. So we'll
you mean the one about Pete Byron?
Yes, that's the one.
From the Vibrating Schlongs. Yeah. Well, okay, so there you go. I think we should have a regular feature here, actually, where me and Wig have a bit of a punk off.
Yeah.
Because these next two tracks are basically, I mean, there's a punky, Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School. Let's face it, it sort of majors in punk. That's our main kind of thrust that we do here. And, I am the tumescent head of sixth form humour here at the Bugbear Rock and Roll High School. Mr. Wig here, he takes the football team out and gives them cold showers once in a while. And two punk tracks now back to back. And, well, let's have your Pete Shelley story after this. Orgasm Addict by the Buzzcocks, followed by Gel Guitar Doors by the Clash. Thank you. Right, Orgasm Addicts, the Buzzcocks. I thought I was being really clever and playing the bootleg version with Howard Devoto's singing, but being told that actually it was the normal one with Pete Shelley. I don't know what happened there. So, anyway, great track. Jail Guitar Doors, The Clash. Well, I'll tell you a little tale about that particular song. I was on the school bus with me punk rock sevens under my arm, and the local hard lad came up to me. What you got there then, Gleedy? And I said, well, they're my punk rock records. And he said, what's that then? I said, that's The Clash. And he said, I'll clash it over your head in a minute. Anyway.
I like the fact your accent, what happened to your accent along the way?
One has to get on in the world.
Well.
Yes. So, Orgasm Addict, the bus. Let's hear your Pete Shelley story.
Well,
come on, let's
I know
hear it.
you've all been dying for the last 2 weeks to hear this story. Okay, well, I was invited to Steve Diggle, the guitarist. It was his 50th, but via a friend of mine called Welsh Pete. I was invited to his birthday party.
Yes.
And I sort of got to know him quite well. But Pete Shelley, never even seen before apart from on stage, and there he was across the room swigging champagne from the bottle. And I spent half the night trying to work out how I could get to talk to him without looking like a bit of a you-know-what. Anyway, eventually I came up with some spurious reason and said, "Hi, Pete, blah, blah, this, that and the other." And he just looked at me and said, "What does your cock taste of?"
My goodness. And what did you say? What do I get? Is that your...
Well, I was actually almost stunned into silence, and I muttered something about strawberries and cream as some sort of joke. But then he dangled his hotel key in front of me, which isn't a euphemism, and just said that he'd be in room whatever it was. And then so I spent half the evening trying to get to talk to him, and the other half trying to avoid him. So it was one of those weird situations.
So there you go, kids. Pete Shelley came on to Wig.
Just in case nobody knew that Pete Shelley was gay.
Came on to Wig.
I'm guessing that's not litigious, as you said, because...
No. Well, it's not litigious at all. He just wanted to taste... Yeah, anyway. So let's talk about DJ action around this town. And London, the most happening, diverse place for, going out and boogieing, as we've said before. And I'll reiterate what I said last time we were here during lesson 1, that there's nothing like an old rock and roll soul 7-inch rock and roll soul rhythm and blues, to get the kids really going out on the dance floor. So I've selected a couple here that we play down the Dublin Castle of a weekend out there in Camden Town. And all the various DJs. We got Killers, Jim Jams, etc. Viva Vinyl is our...
Even Wig now and again, when I'm allowed.
Even Wig now and again. Sorry, Wig. We all make a point of playing old vinyl that sounds nice and crusty and deep and lovely. So
I just realised I talked about myself in the third person there, didn't I?
You did, you egocentric man. Here's 2. Pass the Hatchet, Roger and the Gypsies, followed by Country Girl, Johnny Otis, the late Johnny Otis, who passed away just last week. 2 great tunes. Listen to these. Jam don't shake that way, as wide in the waist as a horse. Yeah, how about that? Did you hear that? Country Girl, Johnny Otis, fantastic place. The sort of place where sort of funk and R&B and rock and roll all kind of mingles together.
Yeah, like the Dublin Castle on a Saturday night, really.
Exactly, or a Friday night or a Sunday night, or any night, really. So real pubs, real music in real pubs is always a pleasure.
We've just been in a real pub, haven't we, Tony?
We have, actually, yeah.
Because the pub we went into before the inaugural recording of this show was shut. Because we are in the heart of trendy Dalston, and so we went to the heart of untrendy Dalston, as in Dalston as it's supposed to be.
Big shout out for the Duke of Wellington and their amassed darts teams of a Thursday evening.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm giving away when we're recording them, but we are live, honestly. Yeah,
I mean, it's full of what my old man would have called real people, and it's got 2 dartboards and a pool table, and it had Magic FM on when we first went in there, but then they progressed down the soul route.
Started playing some soul music.
Yeah, it was quite good.
So Past the Hatchet, Roger and the Gypsies, an old sort of Latino soul classic.
Is that what Past the Duchy was based on? Do you think?
No. But it's a nice thought, I suppose. The likes. I've heard David Holmes actually playing the Johnny Otis tune.
The David Holmes there
in a set. So, I was going to say again, I was going to mention Mark Ronson tampering with records again, but I won't go on about that because obviously, Mark Ronson's collaboration with Joe Pasquale didn't quite come off, did it? But, the Roger, it's one of those tunes now that it's sort of so worn out you've got to put 5p on it. But
I mean, David Holmes, as far as I'm concerned anyway, David Holmes, Mark Ronson, a whole different... ball game, really.
Let's not. It sounds like we're bitter and twisted about Mark Ronson.
I'm not at all. I mean, he's obviously a very talented fella, and But
Well, let's get some Amy Winehouse on next time, just to prove we're not bitter and twisted about Mark Ronson.
well, we saw Amy Winehouse, didn't we? But maybe we'll leave it for that time.
We'll leave the Amy Winehouse story for next time, because, yeah. Okay, so it's about time we heard something new again, I suppose, because that's sort of what we're supposed to be about, partly. And here's a new track now. A band called the Shaker Heights. They're playing on the 10th of February in the Dublin Castle with a bunch of other bands. And this is going to be followed by something that kind of made me think, oh, have the Shaker Heights perchance been listening to these fellas? So Shaker Heights first, Poised As Robots. From the LP Heaven Up Here. Echo and the Bunnymen and the rather moody Show of Strength. Okay, so before that you heard Shaker Heights, Poised As Robots, and as I say, they're playing down the Dublin Castle on the 10th of February with Goodman Ray, Dead Empire and Logic Design. Mr. Wig from the school football team here at Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School. What did you think of the new band there? You don't have to give a critique of the Bunnymen because they're sort of like, ingrained in the very masonry here. But yeah, Shaker Heights.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about the Bunnymen. There's a great track by them.
I said you don't have to.
No, and I'm not. That's all I was going to say. So you've wasted another 10 seconds where you could have been talking more. No, sorry, what were they called again?
Shaker Heights.
Poised As Robots. Is that the one?
That's the fella.
Right,
That's
yes.
the fella.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with the Echo and the Bunnymen thing. I also thought there was a bit of a Julian Copey type thing in there as well.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I quite like that. I like the hook. That was.
You're not blown away.
Not blown away, but I don't want to.
Maybe they're fantastic live. Have you thought about that?
Yes, they probably are. They probably are.
Introduce that into the equation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to blow the dust off an oldie. Sorry, come on, Lillian.
Are we back to the Pete Shelley story again?
You may not have heard this. I don't think many have heard this, but personally, I think it's an unacknowledged classic. Up there with Seven Tears by the Goombay Dance Band.
Oh, now you're talking.
Just.
7 Tears.
No, this is. Do you remember Robin Hitchcock?
Yes.
Well, Robin Hitchcock's sort of quite a name nowadays, but he used to have a band called the Soft Boys in the late 70s. I suppose you'd call it the New Wave period. And this is their Kingdom of Love, and it's a fantastic tune, and it meant a lot to me back in the day because I did a lot of. In my realm of love.
Oh, tell me more, Tony, before you play this.
Should I?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
just
there's a lot
briefly.
of regal love making back in the day. I can tell.
Well, all right, not that much, but I mean, did this song mean something to you and a certain somebody?
A special someone, yeah.
So is it?
Yeah. Okay, let's just hear "Kingdom of Love" by the Soft Boys. Ooh, still does it for me. That sort of Syd Barrett via T-Rex with a bit of Velvets and sort of exotic pub rock. And like I say, that was a big number back in the day when I was a teenage Lothario.
Yes. Well, don't let your wife listen to this.
She won't. Hello, dear. Okay, remember I mentioned the Gay Advert curated exhibition last time. It's called Punk and Beyond. It's at the Signal Gallery. Popped along there. Well, actually, I went along there with Mr. Jim, the absent art master here at the Bugbear Rock and Roll High School. He's taken some of the young female teaching assistants along on the understanding that they'll be seeing his etchings, later.
Yes, so there's plenty to see.
There's plenty to see. So where is Mr. J? He's becoming a sort of Mannarin's wife here, or Arthur Daly's her indoors.
Yeah.
Keep listening, and one day Mr. Jim might make an appearance.
Well, let's call him indoors, shall we?
Him indoors. Him indoors. Nice, like it. So, so get along to the Signal Gallery, and if you want to see some very nice artwork, the guy, what's that guy who's in Rude Boy? Ray Gange. He's done some paintings. Billy Childish, Spiz Energy guy. You know, Penny Rimbaugh.
Yes,
Jamie
indeed.
Reed. All these punk rock and roll heroes exhibiting their works.
Hello, hero, hello.
There you
Sorry,
go.
crass reference there.
Referential, I think is the word.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Okay, so this is the Rock and Roll High School. Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School, that is, in case there's other ones out there that you might get a dodgy diploma from. You don't want to go to them. Wig, I think you've selected another tune, an out swinger, and this is if you're talking about rock and roll, this is like one of the first ever tunes that could be called rock and a roll. So,
Well,
what's
yeah.
this?
I mean, I think it's. Everyone says, "What's your favourite song by so and so?" And you struggle around. You say, "Well, I like that." You know, if someone said to me, "What's your favourite Stranglers song?" I mean, yesterday it might have been, No More Heroes, and tomorrow it might be.
I thought you meant the song you like strangling things to. Oh, right, sorry.
But with this particular song, with this particular artist, he's quite well known. He's a guy called Elvis Presley. I mean, this song.
Do you think he'll ever take off?
No, I think it's quite underground. But this song does it for me. It's called Mystery Train.
Very much underground.
And it puts the chug into chugging, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I like it. So, Mystery Train, Elvis Presley. Let's hear it. Oh, there you go, Elvis P. and the marvellous Mystery Train. And yeah, you can't really beat that, can you? That's just fantastic.
You can't beat it even with a stick. I mean, to be honest, as my mate used to say, it wasn't that funny then, to be honest.
Well, let's get some of the students in who have been misbehaving and see if we can beat it. That's what I reckon. Anyway, I think we're done here. We'll be back to the Duke of Wellington with the darts players soon and the old soul tunes on the jukebox. So let's have a little big up for proper pubs. Let's do that. Like the Dublin Castle. I know I've mentioned it a lot of times tonight.
Have you? I wasn't aware.
Bugbear do a lot of...
Sorry, where was it again?
Parkway, Camden, where we do a lot of
isn't that where
rock and roll high school discos.
Isn't that where a lot of European leaders meet to discuss important financial things? Or am I getting it confused with somewhere else?
No, that's the Hope and Anchor in Islington.
Oh, yeah, that's
it. Yeah. But let's hear it for proper pubs. We don't want to go in those bars that are sort of like the 90s, do we? Really?
Well, we don't. I mean, we're in an interesting place because Dalston, I mean, I remember when Hoxton took off, and my old man, proper Londoner, I said, yeah, but it was in Hoxton, blah, blah, he goes, Hoxton?
Yeah.
Hoxton? I mean, he described it as the arse end of London to me.
It was full of nasty bastards who would stab you as soon as look at you.
And it seems like I'm just desperately hoping that they're going to get bored of Dalston and move into Haringey, and then my house might finally, I say house, 2-bedroom flat.
I can't afford to buy a house in Hackney anymore.
No.
Anyway, let's. Good night, everybody. It's been a lovely another visit from the Bugbear Rock and Roll High School into your ears. I hope you've enjoyed it. Anyway, as the theme tune fades away here, and if you wonder what this is, this wonderful piece of music. Oh, there goes the bell again. Okay, everybody home. Dribcots boat trip, something like that. It's Joe Meek and the Blue Men. We might have a little Joe Meek episode next time around
why not?
as well. Yeah, because he was an interesting fellow.
You don't want to have a literal Joe Meek episode, though, because that could be the end of you.
I'm thinking of channeling his ghost.
Okay.
Tune in next time for the
So you won't need me then? He'll just be...
Well, I definitely will need you to make sure he doesn't tamper with me.
Okay.
But thanks for listening again to Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School Lesson 2. Well, hopefully catch up again on Lesson 3, which will be coming very soon. Bye-bye.